The main focus in Skyrim is combat. The game offers you many ways and styles to defeat your enemies. But what if you didn't want to do that? What if you were so powerful that any fight is immediately boring to you? Well, most people know that to defeat the last enemy in the game, you must attack him at least once. You cannot avoid it. Then what if you decided to attack only once and with your fists? Can you beat Skyrim with only one punch? I chose an Imperial because they can use the Voice of the Emperor, a power that stops all the NPCs from fighting for 60 seconds. Named myself and went to the block. Not being able to attack means that I can use shouts or powers that don't deal damage, but I'll try to avoid it. This means no healing magic. Obviously, there are enemies that must be killed, so I'll have a companion. I am too bored to attack, so I let Ralof handle the fight. But then I decided to avoid everyone and run through the exit. Only to discover that you cannot finish the prologue if Ralof isn't there. I waited for a while, then admitted defeat and loaded a previous save. Off to a good start. This time I'm waiting for Ralof to win the fights and we get to the exit. Here we reach Riverwood, where I can do an easy quest for Sven and recruit him as my companion. He will handle the fights for now. We arrive at Whiterun to inform the Jarl, but for some reason the guard that is supposed to greet us and let us through isn't there. I have no mods installed, and this never happened to me. Maybe it was because I talked to a guard previously. After 9 years, this game still has surprises. Waiting a bit solves the problem. We meet the Jarl and inform him of the Dragon Menace. He sends us in an nearby ruin to get a stone. Here Sven needs to do all the work. He deals a decent amount of damage, but he is very fragile. To solve this, and this is what I will do for the following hours, I will take the damage and Sven will attack. Now we have the first problem. We need to cut some webs in order to proceed, but I cannot attack and Sven can't do it. There are no tricks you can do, the webs must be destroyed, so I allowed myself to use magic. Also, technically the webs don't take damage. There are 4 total mandatory webs in the main story. This means I'll have to do this 4 times. The second web is right up ahead. We have to cut loose a guy. This doesn't damage him. He runs away and Sven kills him. For the rest of the dungeon, either Sven or the traps will clear all the enemies. We reach the Rogue Overlord, and to my surprise, Sven kills him with 2 attacks. Stone in hand, we get back to the Jarl. We are informed that a dragon is attacking the city. We meet the dragon, and he is easily defeated by the guards. Not much to say here. After that, they give me Lydia as a companion to thank me for sitting there, so I can send Sven back home. We are then summoned on top of a mountain. There are no mandatory fights here, so we can simply steal a horse and ride all the way there. We hear them rambling about me being the chosen one or something like that, I don't really care, and I decide to go and retrieve a horn for them just so that they will stop talking. The horn is inside a dungeon riddled with enemies. Obviously. Lydia takes care of them easily while I tank all the damage. Here we have to burn down the third web. We then discover that someone else took the horn. Thinking it may be interesting, I go and meet them. We have an encounter with some cultists that think I am not the true One Punch Man, but the whole city attacks them. We meet Delphine and we go all together to kill a dragon. On the way there, we meet a courier that says that Sven is dead. What? We find the dragon. He tries to eat me, but Delphine and Lydia are strong enough and we win. I didn't need to move a single muscle. In Riverwood, we find Sven's body, and I think he died trying to protect me from the cultists. I put him on a vehicle to ease his trip to Sovngarde, and we mourn. Back with Delphine, she thinks the Talmor are the ones behind the dragon attacks, even though every piece of literature says that dragons despise all the mortals. And she decides to send me in a Thalmor embassy to find out what they know. In order to infiltrate the embassy, I have to go there alone, so I won't be able to fight inside. I decide to bring a couple of invisibility potions just in case. I sneak in the embassy, and by sneak I mean every elf in a 10-mile radius wants to stab me. Now I find myself in a pickle, because the only way that I can escape the embassy is through this trapdoor, but I cannot kill the guards that hold the keys. I wasted some time trying various methods, but the only feasible thing I found was using the Imperial power and stealing the key. I tried to avoid it, but it doesn't deal any damage, meaning it isn't an attack, and I think there are no other solutions. The elves knew nothing, and luckily I didn't commit any war crime in there, so we decided to find one of Delphine's old friends. Maybe he has something interesting to say. He is down in the sewers under Riften. There are a couple of elves there, but this time I'm with Lydia and she gets rid of them. We find Esbern and he comes with us. All together, we decide to go and find a wall where it's supposed to be written a way to defeat Alduin that I think is responsible for Sven's death. We reach the location and I let them fight the couple of enemies that are inside. We find the wall and we discover that we need a shout. I am not that stoked to shout, but at least it's not an attack. I talked to the folks that thought I was the chosen one only because they know a shout expert. I meet him, and it's not Ronnie James Dio, but a cool dragon is good enough in my book. Here, in order to proceed, I must shout at him and damage him. It's not like I have a choice since it's mandatory. And for this reason, I won't consider this as failing the challenge, or else every challenge similar to this would automatically fail. Now that he knows for sure that I'm able to speak, I have to demonstrate that I'm able to read too. So I need to find an Elder Scroll. I meet an Elder Scroll expert in a cave, and me and Lydia go together in a dwarven ruin. Here, if I leave her alone for a second, she falls to the ground bleeding. And mixing that with the fact that I lost her a couple of times, and I know there is a mandatory fight at the end, made this a little bit challenging. We managed to reach the Centurion, and shortly after, Umano and Sulla, but I can't tank the damage and Lydia wins the fight. We then solve the puzzle and get the scroll. I read the scroll to run the shout and browse Twitter during the unskippable cutscene. And we have to fight Alduin. The shout makes it impossible for the dragon to fly, but deals no damage, so I can stand still eating cheese wheels while the others attack him. We defeat him, but he flies away, and we have to find a way to follow him. We want to use a castle to capture a dragon that can bring us near a portal that leads to Alduin's location. But first we have to call a truce, because a civil war that I was too bored to mention is raging. Truce done, we capture the dragon and fly with him. Problem is that we can only go there alone, and alone means no companion, and no companion means no attacks. It takes a couple of trials, but I managed to jump around with 50 Drogue following me while I solve a puzzle. Also, here is the fourth and last web. Shortly after, I am, again, in a pickle, since I forgot there is a Drogue Overlord that has an item that I need to proceed. The Drogue is immune to the special power, and, in any case, cannot be pickpocketed. So the only way I found to proceed is walking into a trap that damages him. Some of you may think this counts as an attack, but it's not direct, so for me, it's a pass. We can discuss this in the comment section. Outside the dungeon, I can run and enter the portal before the priest closes it, avoiding the fight. In Sovngarde, there is one last fight before Alduin. Thun wants to be sure that I am worthy, and I have to fight him. Alone. The voice of the Emperor is useless, because after 60 seconds where he doesn't attack, he will simply resume the fight. My plan was to lure him on top of a small mountain and win thanks to the fall damage. I easily got him on the top, but I spent 40 minutes trying to push him down, and it's impossible. The main problem is that there are some small rocks near the top that he cannot go through. I tried jumping, I tried running towards him, I tried other spots and places, but to no avail. He must be defeated in combat. At least I found a cheesy spot that you can use if you can't win this fight. I did what it had to be done. I decided to use the Storm Call Shout. With this, a lightning storm appears and attacks your enemies. It was the most indirect attack I could make, but I still failed the challenge. Soon defeated, I met the heroes and gathered all the food I could find since I had almost no healing potions. Also, I never knew you couldn't take this with roll. I don't know if it's bugged or is left there intentionally as some kind of reference. Together, we called Alduin to fight. I took all the damage and he stood there, knowing what was going to happen. I charged my right punch and he exploded. I beat the game, avenged Sven, and could not beat Skyrim with only one punch. If you did this challenge yourselves, let me know how it went in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like or even subscribe. I'll see you next time. Well, I mean, you'll see me. See the video at least. Why do I always mess up the outro?